One, two, one, two, one, two. Yo, so this is the just a little broadcast so I could kind of show off some stuff and I'll try to do these a little more regularly. But I just wanted to show, here's what I'm gonna do first is just unbox some stuff. Um and show you how to rack it. Simple stuff, and then maybe we'll come back, next week. Yo, what's going on? What's going on? So I'm using a new setup right here. So I notice my voice is kind of out of sync, but you won't be looking at my mug much longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbox a performer. We're gonna talk about some stuff. If anybody has any questions, you can ask me some questions. But what I noticed is, which is was kind of cool about what Modbap Modular has going on, is the fact that um oh, okay, good. Voice looks okay to you. So the idea that there's a lot of people that love the performer that are not necessarily modular heads. And I guess, that's not surprising because listen, I'm trying to combine these two worlds of hip hop and beat driven music with Eurorack. And kind of what that comes with is bringing people into a new space. So bringing hip hop producers and people who use like machines and Kai Force and MPC into this new space of Eurorack. And even if they're not new to it, some people don't want the big the huge setups like I have over here. So I've been using this guy right here, right? And so 4MS made such a great case. Um, and I'm still pretty new at manufacturing things, so I don't have a case that we could put the performer in just yet, right? So I use this, and I recommend that people use this to throw the performer in. And you could put a 6 HP blank in there because the performer is 14 HP. This module is a Listen IO by 4MS, but it's 6 HP and it gives me extra IO. So I like to use those together. But what I want to do here today is for those that don't quite know how to set this stuff up, I'm going to just go through an unboxing and kind of show how I rack it. And then um, I have some test firmware on there. So I'm actually going to go through the process after I put it in the rack and get it all set up. Or before I put it in the rack and get it all set up, I'm going to flash the firmware so you can kind of see what that process looks like, or update the firmware, see what that process looks like. Then I'm going to go ahead and, finish putting it in the rack and see if we can get a little jam going. And if there's questions in between, we'll see what's up. So it's a little after 6 right now. Let's see if we can get this going in 30 to 45 minutes. And then, like I said, I'll try to do these regularly, answer questions, and then, anyway, let's see what's up. All right. So let's switch this over. Here's the culprit. Yeah. Yeah, it actually is cool. So yeah, also pardon me too, because if I'm running this alone, so I'm trying to answer questions and I'll be kind of talking through what I'm doing here too. So, all right, let's go ahead and unbox this guy. When you buy this, it comes in a little box, it looks like. So we're just going to open it up. And get this off of here. I kind of don't like unwrapping anything, including my own module, but we got to protect it when it gets shipped out. And what else comes in the box? We get a sticker, a Modbap sticker, and the performer quick start guide. Oh, right there you can read, hey, we do what we do because we do this sort of thing and that sort of thing. Yeah, thanks, HR Terra. I appreciate that, man. And then this is the quick start guide. So, another thing is I'm going to go through this at some point too, because I want people to understand this may look like a lot of information, and it probably is. But what I wanted to do with this is give you something you can just get started with real quick. We have a full like 50-page manual because the module has a lot going on. But the quick stuff that this will show you how to do is worth every penny, right? Um, for instance, you can obviously press these buttons and you get the effects. And I had quite a few people that were like, yo, you need to add a way that we could just leave that on. And you do. You just have to hold shift, this button right here, this little button. Get this right. You just have to hold that little shift button while you press one of the arcade buttons. Boom, it latches it on. So uh, just FYI on that. So this is what we kind of have in the package. Comes with some screws, and I'll leave that right here for now. We'll take this and this, put that back in the box. Wrap that up. And never mind all my wires and nonsense over here. I'll actually do this. Let's do that. All right, so there we have the performer. Let's share my screen. Well, before we do that, it's not powered up, obviously. I'm going to connect this USB cable to it right here. Yeah. It works. There. All right. So now we have that connected. All right. So let me pull that back so this can focus a little bit. Now, you have to hold down this button on the right and then tap the other little white button on the left to put it in the mode to be able to upload the firmware. So yeah, it's got a daisy. It uses a daisy. I love the daisy platform, and the guys who developed it are real dope too. So in order to put this in the mode that you need to flash it, you hold down that button and tap that button. It should be in the firmware mode. Now I'm going to share my screen. Like so. Let's be sure I'm watching it on a delay over here, so I want to also see what you're seeing. Give me 1 second. Let's do it like this. All right, so, okay, now we're on the Modbap Modular homepage. All right, and this is all about the performer and blah, 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 right? So if you go to support, and this is for, all my folks who, I get the questions and I wanted to just give you a visual. So I thought it would be good to do this in a way where we have a live situation, and it'll be like I'm there with you helping you rack this thing. So if you want to update the firmware, you go to support page, you scroll down, you can get the manual here by clicking there. That'll download the manual, the little reference sheet that ships with it. You can click here and get that. You can also download our Make, Shape, Move Beginner's Guide, but I prefer that you go to the products page, and that's in the store. And then that way, yeah, so that's the best way to do that. So here's the thing. You come in here, support resources, forums, and I got to be honest, I got to get better with monitoring the forums. I'm much better with answering DMs and answering emails like almost immediately. But I probably need some help monitoring the forums, but that's a story for another day. So anyway, we're going to the firmware. You click that and it starts to download the firmware. All right, so I'm going to double click the firmware, and it just expanded it, and there. So now we have the firmware 1.3. I'm going to drag that out of the way for a sec. And I'm already connected to the computer. If you look at the instructions, also, actually, I want to show you the instructions here. So right on this same page where you download the firmware, you can go to Yeah, you could go to the FAQ. How do I update the firmware? And as I release more modules, obviously this will be less performer centric and more just in general Modbap modular. How do I update things, right? So here it gives you all of the instructions, everything you need to know right here on this screen, including the link to the Electrosmith GitHub programmer, right? So I'm already there. And so you probably don't have to, but I'll select the patch. You probably don't have to do that. So this is the, like I said, on the back of this, it's on the Daisy platform. So what you want to do here is drop the file, the bin file, right? Drop that joint right there, and you'll see Performer version 1.03. Now you need to connect it. So I've already got it physically connected, and it should be in firmware update mode because we held the right button and pressed down the left button. I should probably get the right terminology, right? Let's see. On the module, hold the boot button and then press the reset button. Okay, so that's the right terminology. On the right is the boot button, on the left is the reset button. So in order to put it in the mode, you connect the USB to it, and be sure you got a good USB. I've seen Daisies be finicky or USBs be weird, but anyway, just with the USB cable, I've just seen people come and say, hey, it's not working. When I tell them to switch their cable, then they switch a cable and it's good. So anyway, you put it in boot mode, boot reset. It's in firmware mode, I should say. Now I've come to this page. I've got my firmware ready to go. The performer should be connected. Click on connect. And what you'll see, what you should see is DFU in FS mode. So I'm going to click on that. Now it should be connected, and I can hit program, and it's writing. We are currently updating the firmware. And I'll try to keep up with any questions or anything. So if you got questions, just let me know. And then hopefully we'll be able to do this in enough time that we can get to a jam at the end, just to kind of show some stuff. All right. So it's done. And that's it. So I'm going to switch the camera back to this. So we could just disconnect that joint. Said done. It's done. We just pull the cable out. I'll put that back there. And let's rack it. Maybe I'll go to this view. Not enough light. Yeah, not enough light. So if you could see in there, and you probably can't, there's a ribbon cable that's going from this module into there. This is kind of keyed. Hello, autofocus. So you need to kind of take this cable, and you have to take this cable and connect it into the power connector on the inside of here. And it's red striped down. Notice that cable there has a little red stripe on it, and it's going down. But also notice this. There's a little notch at the top of this power connector that it's only going to go in one way anyway. So don't worry about that. And so, because you probably won't be able to see in there I probably need a little more light here, but let's get this connected. I'll switch to this, because you won't be able to see that too close anyway. Put this in here. Make it a little closer. This is not the fun part of it. Yeah, I think we got it. All right. Let me reset something here. Pardon me. Like I said, this is a new camera setup for me. Once I dial it in, it's going to be great. But until then, we got little things going on. So anyway, I have that connected to the power in there. Now, I know for those of you who know Eurorack, this is probably mad boring, but it's necessary for our new fams who probably don't see or do this stuff every day like a lot of us do. So I'm just using these screws to screw it into place. Let's see, there. This one is a little more tough than I remember, that particular screw. Yeah. All right. And the wires on the back of here, I mean, this fits in this case, but the wires are very a very thick gauge. And that's done on purpose because no doubt. This is a little ASMR. So anyway, this is done on purpose so that we had quality wires and we can sort of fold them down in there and keep them in place so they're not moving around. It kind of makes a better connection with a thicker gauge. And so there we go. Set up in your new case with the Performer that's been flashed with the latest firmware. And let's get some power into it. Bingo, bingo, bango. All right, slide that aside for a sec. And, you know, I really want some more light. Hold on. Well, that's a little something. All right, so, and for those of you who may be familiar with my IG, both at Modbap Modular and at B-Boy Tech Report, you may have seen this case, this sort of stand for the Pod 20. It's so brilliant. It's by Curry Cases. And it's dope. So this just fits right down in there. Boom. Okay, viewfinder. Yeah, all right, cool. So there we have it. Now let's get this wired up so we can kind of play some beats through it. And I just want to also mention, yeah, Curry Cases is a freaking genius whiz kid with stuff. I got a good deal of Curry Cases stuff. One day we should have him on and just kind of talk about these cases and everything. So anyway, this is my setup, right? And so let me get this dialed in so we can play this guy through this guy. All right. So first thing I'm going to do, and really all you need is a pair of cables. So we got some Modbap branded cables. Well, they're not really branded, but they're in our colorway, right? So I have, these will be on the site at some point soon. We shipped out 4 of these to the first, I don't know if it was 100 or first 50 people that bought the Performer. And so we had a black one, a white one, a pink one, and a blue one, because those are kind of the brand colors. And so, yeah. So what we're going to do here is do, let me take these cables right here. These cables here are coming out of the back of the Akai Force. That would be the same if you're using any other drum machine. Take the main output and get a cable that is 1/4 inch on one side. That's going to be coming from your drum machine, and 1/8 inch or 3.5 millimeter, whatever you want to say, on the other side. And they're just mono cables. And this can take line level and Eurorack level, so you can go straight out of your drum machine into Performer, right? So here we go. Bam, bam, input left and right. And for the sake of how I like to have this set up, I'm going to run, where the cable go here. I'm going to run this into the line in up here, like so. So now I got my performer coming out, going into, I'm saying the force is going out and coming into the performer. I have the performer going out. And honestly, I could just run the cables that I'm about to connect to the output signal. I could just have all of this just going through the performer. I don't even need another module. But because I like having a volume knob on a module, this is why I kind of do this. So next time, maybe I'll go live that stuff. But at least I was able to show you what it comes looking like, how you can, easily throw it into one of these Pod 20s or any other case that you have. But the Pod 20 is nice because it has power, it's small footprint, and it's almost like a baby sort of K-oscillator pad or SP404 in Eurorack format. And it does take line level. So that's been a big question that people have asked, do I need some sort of other module in there to see if it'll, take the line level from my MPC or my force? Yes, indeed, it will. And no doubt, no doubt. So yeah, this will take line level and Eurorack level just fine. When I jump back on, maybe I'll try to do it this weekend, but if not, I'll jump back on next week, and then I'll give you a sneak peek of some of the new firmware. New firmware is coming out here soon. We still got to do some testing, still doing some tweaks, some last minute tweaks before it comes out. But some of the stuff from the new firmware, we have 4 new color presets. So right now we have Classic, which is a 12-bit color preset. We have Lo-Fi, which is an 8-bit color preset. We have Saturation, which gives beats a nice punch and rolls off the highs a little bit. It's a real dope setting. And then we have Wax, which is our version of like a vinyl simulator. And so along with that, we got these 4 new colors coming, Wax 2. And the goal with Wax 2 is just to kind of give you something a little less aggressive with more warbles. And we have, what's next? We have the next 2. So that's the 1 of 4. So that's Wax 2. Then we have a fixed low pass filter, a fixed high pass filter. And then we have the last one, it's just white noise. So those are the 4 new color presets that'll be coming out with the next firmware. So the next firmware is going to be 1.1. So it's a pretty huge update. We're still working on some of the things that I want to be able to add on there. So I don't want to tell too much, but the next time I jump on here, I'll have this music thing going the way it should. You'll be able to see and hear what I'm doing. And then I'll demo some of those things. So, I want to thank you for stopping by. And for those of you that's maybe the first time stopping by, be sure to subscribe, like the page, and share because we want Performer in as many Eurorack cases as possible out there. So go tell your friends how dope it is and come back for the next time that we get down. And for those of you that are new to Eurorack, I hope this video is informative and you can kind of use it to sort of get started with your initial setup. All right. This is Corey Banks, Modbap Modular. Peace.